Hello one and all, my name is Lorrelion, this is my channel Megapublix, and this is the prequel to our multiplayer Conclave game. I hope you're excited for this one, because I really am too. This is the earliest save that I could find. I'm recording this, even though it's the prequel, I'm recording this after we played the first session. We started with the 1081 start date. The reason that we did that was because Byzantium is weak at this moment, and I personally hate the ERE, and it's sort of a very, very interesting start date. I'm getting a little reverb on my speakers from me talking. I'm not 100% sure if you're getting that, and I'm very sorry if you are. So let's sort of go over some of the key players here, and then the other thing that I want to talk about is that we added in, a score system, and we'll talk about that towards the end of this video. So I am Duke Nicholas of Carinthia. I'm quick. I've unfortunately had to kill some family to get where I am. Because of that, many see me as deceitful. I'm a little cynical because of that. And of course, I love women, because why wouldn't you love women? I end up having a son, Nicholas, who with a Hungarian princess, he himself will have a claim on Hungary, and we'll see how that works out. You'll notice that this can be inherited by successor. There's a little bit of a story to why that is. When he was 0 years old, well, not 0, like 1 or 2, his mother died. And I know I'm giving away a little bit of spoilers here, but unfortunately I don't feel like I had enough time I had enough time when I recorded with everyone else to explain how this plan worked. So he inherited a weak claim at like 1 or 2 that couldn't be inherited. I decide I really want him to hold on to that claim, and if I can't use it now, I can use it later. Hungary was in a really weak position, but I didn't want my like under 6-year-old son to rule Hungary, because that would just tear it apart and it would just damage me in the long run. Plus he's German and Hungary is Hungary. So what I end up doing is I fight Hungary to the point where I've completely won, and then I white peace. So that way, this claim becomes inheritable. Anyway, this is my son Nicholas, hopeful future king of Hungary. I also later have another son, John, and he's a much better heir than Nicholas. We'll see how that goes. Richarda is an adorable little girl learning etiquette for the first time. Elizabeth is a twin and I think she's going to be the rowdier of the two. I'm not 100% sure how I play that out. Yeah, definitely. Elizabeth and Leanne are twins. Leanne is a little bit more of a talker, you see. Let's look at some of the other players here real fast while I've got a few minutes. This is Remark, aka Kramer. Let's look at the Duchess Nora of Tuscany here. She's a brilliant strategist, trusting, cynical, honest, ambitious. And definitely ambitious. Like, she, even though the player's a he, but the character's a she. She really wants to control all of Italy, with the exception of she made a deal with me that she would leave Verona alone, and she would leave Croatia alone, and Venice, as long as I didn't interfere in the rest of Italy, and I am more than fine with that. J Rock over here, is this a created dynasty? It must be, because his name is Duke J-Rock. It sounds like a goddamn wrestler. He's an amateurist plotter. It's a interesting created character here. He's stressed, he's just, he's gregarious, and an amateur plotter. Are any of these... Oh, it looks like he had 2 children through the character creator. Alright, that's cool. I'm not 100% sure what his long-term goals are. I know he wants this, and he wants Nice. Or at least what his de jure territory is. Doesn't seem that particularly ambitious, but he hasn't, like, talked a lot. Honestly, I think that makes great material for the Holy Roman Empire. Or to be Kaiser, that is. We've got... I'm gonna hurry this up just a little bit. The Duke of Toulouse is J. Crop. Two very different people. He's stubborn, deceitful. Sounds like a real fucking asshole. Brave. Kind. Got a daughter, Flippa. Flippa Cup. This is the Crop. This might not have been a created character. He may have just used the... he may have just used the customizer. In fact, I think that... No, because there's no way that he got the name J-Rock without creating a character. But Gilliam II sounds like... I don't know if he knows how to... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether or not he played a created character or not. And then we've got Ermac Scorpion playing Duke Ermac of Barcelona, trying to complete the Reconquista. In fact, he's really nothing else but that when you stop and think about it, because he's just diligent and a skilled tactician. Like, he himself, I imagine this guy who's just so driven to just take back all of Spain that he has, like, no other personality. Let's see now. Early on in the game, he gets, tributized by, or he starts as a tributary of the King of Aragon. That's interesting. And then we've got our good old friend Epic Fail, who is also attempting to take the Iberian Peninsula. He is legitimate. He's a bastard at some point. He's very quick. He's a Said. He's been in the Hajj before. He's lustful, though. That I don't think makes for a very pious Muslim. And deceitful, ooh. And stubborn and cruel. He, another guy who just sounds like an asshole. Who else do we got? We've got Duke of Bacon's character. Where is he? I'll find him real fast. Where the hell is he? Vassals, Patrician, the Bacon. Big guy. You know what? You'll see plenty of him. You'll definitely... Oh, here he is. Here he is. Little kid. Little kid. Little kid. This must have been the first Doge who, wins a crusade very quickly. I think it's in the first, like... We lose a little bit of footage in the beginning. Not quite 10 years, but like 30 minutes of the game. And immediately there's a crusade for Greece. And Genoa wins it. And we're not 100% sure how. So, we've also got the Fable playing right here. He's sworn to Hungary to stop the ERE from taking him over. He's a misguided warrior. He's out there charging at windmills. He's charitable. He sounds like a good guy for the most part, other than being a little paranoid. But you know what? To be a good ruler, sometimes you do need to be a little paranoid. And then let's talk about an immersive elephant in the room that is still... It's hilarious, don't get me wrong. I think it's funny. And he has a lot of weird shit that goes on. So he's definitely a guy to watch for. Swack is playing Dux Donald J. Trump. Anyway, so he is apparently a genius and attractive. Though, if he were doing some sort of actual Trump character, I think ugly would probably be on there. He's scarred, he's lustful, deceitful, ambitious, arbitrary. I don't even know how to define a guy like this. He is everything. he ends up going through a lot of crazy shit, and despite the unimmersive name, it's actually rather hilarious. So let's talk about the point system. Alright, so this is the point system right here. Let's talk about what the fuck this means, because all you see is probably just charts. So we've got 3 categories of points: roleplay, power, and historic. Roleplay is given to the best role player. So we've got roleplay 3 votes, or 3 points, and I'll explain what these points do. They're for the most part arbitrary, however they do have another function. And the best role player is voted on each session. In case there's a tie, we split it. If we can't split it evenly, we add 1 until we get until we do get an even split. So if we have 4 people, we keep adding numbers until it's evenly split 4 ways. We've got a vote for second best role player, same as above. We've got a vote for best story, so everyone's going to get 2 minutes at the end to tell their story. And whoever tells the best story, the story from game, obviously, not from, like, real life. Like, I don't really care if someone went to, like, Arby's on a Saturday, ordered their roast beef, and then ended up getting a fucking... I don't know. I'm clearly never going to win this one. And then we've got 1 for PvP intrigue and 1 for PvP war. Now these 2 everyone can get. If you fight a legitimate war against a player, you'll get 1 point. You either were fighting the war or you weren't. If you do PvP intrigue actions against another player, you'll get the point. Now for the intrigue, I don't expect people to be like, I was acting against this person, but all they really have to do to get that point is to say, oh, I acted against someone else in via intrigue. If I ever find out that that's not the case, they will lose that point, but it's relatively easy to get. The only downside about claiming that point is you have to stand up and say, yes, I fucked a player. Alright, so the other one is PvP war, and this has to be like an honest war. This can't be like, oh, do you mind if I press my claim for this? Oh, yeah, sure, you can have it. No, you're not going to get your points for that. And then the total for roleplay points are going to be averaged throughout the sessions. So every session, you add them together, divide by the number of sessions. The power points. Each of these are a different category, calculated differently. The power points... You're going to get points based off your rank and the rank of your family members, not based off how many of these you have. So if I have 4 Empire titles, I'm not getting 16 points. I'm getting 4 points. Unless I have 4 family members who are emperors, in which case then in which case then I do get 16 points. So every emperor in your family gets 4 points for you. Every king in your family gets 3, every duke gets 2, every count gets 1. If these people are underneath you, as opposed to independent or underneath someone else, you get the value of that half rounded up. So for a king, you'd get 2 points. For duke, you'd get 1 point. For count, I was debating between giving you 1 point or giving you 0 points. We'll just see how the point system actually works. Whoever has the highest family prestige gets a point. Whoever has the highest score gets a point. Whoever has the highest realm size gets a point. The goal is to show off power by spreading off your family, not by being individually powerful. So the way that this is calculated is the average across all sessions plus the last session. So the last session is the most important one. And then the last one that we got is historic. You get these points immediately, the moment you do them. Some of these can be taken away from you by other people. Some of these you just get forever. Winning a great holy war for a holy site, so crusading for Jerusalem, will get you 1 point. That can never be taken away from you, because if you look historically, there are just some families who went and crusaded, and then even though the Holy Land was lost, they were still famous forever for it. Reforming a religion will get you 1 point. Creating an empire, a non-de jure empire. Reforming Rome counts as this. Making a Titilial empire counts as this. Will get you 1 point. Destroying an empire, just completely eradicating an empire will get you 1 point. Creating and pressing an anti-pope will get you 1 point. Stopping someone from creating an or defeating someone who has created an anti-pope in a war against them to depose the anti-pope will get you a point. You can't get multiple points for this, but it can be taken away. So if you knock someone down who created an anti-pope, if someone else creates an anti-pope, then you gotta knock them down too, otherwise you're gonna lose the point. If you press your anti-pope claim on the papacy, and then someone else presses their anti-pope claim on the papacy, you're gonna lose that point. Having a pope of your dynasty will get you 1 point forever. You can only get it once. Making a heresy the norm will get you 1 point. Being religious head, I didn't write that down here, but that's essentially I'm acting as though that's pressing an anti-pope claim. Or I'm acting as though that's having a pope of your dynasty, so that's going to get you 1 point. Any questions? Leave them in the comments. Thank you very much. Remember to be a hero to the Mega Republic by liking and subscribing, and as always, have a wonderful day. Until next time.